Hey guys, we are here with another episode of Bull. Free Fall is the name of the episode. Stay right with us.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh my God. Hey guys, these two right here are playing with Snapchat filters. We're playing two different versions of Free Fallin'. Tom Petty and we've got John Mayer going on right now.
We couldn't figure it out when we wanted to do, so.
Stephen Lemieux in our booth.
Yeah, thank you for this.
Thank you, man.
Mashup that we have going. And the music video is playing as well.
I'm so sorry, guys.
it's just going in so many different directions, but that's how this episode went. We're free falling. We were just going in so many weird
directions.
Directions, trajectories in this episode, but it was fantastic, and it was a great episode of Bull again.
Yeah.
Overall, guys, before we get to everything, tell everybody where they can find you two on social media.
Hey guys, you can find me at Real Chae Jones, and I'm Chae Jones.
Yeah, you are, girl. And I'm Nadine Della Pelle, and you can find me at Nadine DP in the number 3.
These guys are the best. I am Kevin Ellis. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Kevin Ellis. As I said, this episode was just crazy. It took some weird twists. We had a lot of different characters that actually contributed to the case, it felt like, or at least a lot of different potential murderers, and that's rare. I don't know if you guys felt the same thing. Right when we got in the plane with all of these staffers, I'm thinking, okay, it's got to be somebody in this plane, but I don't know who. Thrown for a loop, it wasn't anybody.
Yeah, I think that, you know, they're tricking us now. They did this last episode too, and now this episode. I feel like before we were very easy to find who exactly the whodunit. We were able to really figure it out, kind of, in a sense. And now they're putting us through this loop, and I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying the excitement and whatnot. I did not think we were gonna get the result we did tonight.
I did not either, but Chae?
I said I knew it.
You knew it.
I pointed at the TV and said I knew it.
But at what point in time did you know it?
It was after, for some reason, I feel like after the governors, we had them and they brought in Governor Aiken. I'm like, that's just like now you're trying to make it too easy, and like for things that are too easy, that has to be another explanation for me.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, so if it can't be him, it had to. And when they brought that, you know, they're gonna stop their lease for the airport. It had to be personal, like and it was personal, but just not as personal. Governor Aiken, it wasn't really that personal for him. It had to be closer personal.
Yeah, I thought with the governor, I thought it was going to be a challenge to actually convict him. That's why I thought it was him. That's why I was like, this is going to be challenging. He's a sitting governor right now in Connecticut, so this is going to be their challenge of trying to get someone. And I was wrong. I
think the one moment where there was a fleeting thought, like, okay, this guy is going to be more, and I'm speaking of Max, who was the uncle of Dylan. Dylan. But I got a sense when you saw that character actor, he's in a bunch of episodic television, and I know I've seen him in a couple of movies
amazing.
Too. But he's somebody who I'm like, okay, if they're getting this guy, I feel like this is a more integral role. But then when he became the attorney for the defendants, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe that's just his role, and I kind of like threw that to the back of my mind. I didn't think that he was the murderer, but the way that he kind of, you know, you always tell, like, the way that certain directors make certain decisions, and when they introduced him, he was just in the background, kind of slithering in, closing the door. It just kind of seemed, when you look back on it, okay, that was a perfect way of introducing the murderer.
Yeah.
No, it was the way he was just so... Like, it kept hitting me, like, how he was so against the strategy. Like, why, like, you're like, you want to fight for this company, so why are you so against that? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't understand. You should be up to, like, put your head in the game, and, like, we can understand why his head was not in the game, because he was the murderer.
Yeah, he's like, why are we trying to find murderers? But now looking back when they first introduced him, like you were saying, Dylan said, like, he has been my rock throughout all of this. And he didn't really be like, yeah, like, I'm here for you. He just kind of looked at her and then looked down. And now I'm kind of relating as for why he did that.
I know, that sense of betrayal, that's got to be so hard
and
on
just
Dylan.
guilt. Like, you can just tell he was so guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was just a totally interesting case in that Liberty, our beloved Liberty, and I know this is one of Nadine's favorite.
My girl.
Just,
awesome.
Oh man, she was a part of the prosecution in this case, which is just totally just bizarre.
It was amazing, and what I kind of loved too is that, you know, when Bull and our lovely Geneva Carr, who's great seeing her act again, not just on our screen, when Bull and Marissa, when they were like kind of like proud parents in a sense, and I felt the same. I felt like I was a fan. I've always felt that way. I've always been like, you go Liberty, like love her, and like so happy she has her own case. So I really love that they tied that emotional aspect into it, and we even see Marissa like getting all excited that she realized what we're doing. She knows our tricks. You go, girl.
No, she was like, this is not a proud parent moment. Like,
that's what Bull said.
It was just like, that was like so awesome. Just like, cause like, you're on my side right now. I need you to shift your focus a little bit to be on my side.
I was feeling the same way as Marissa. I loved every minute of it.
He was super stone cold this episode. Did you get the same sense from the way Michael Weatherly was playing his character this episode? It was very different from it in the past. I felt like he was truly had this like this bubble around him, and he just did not want to break at all. Just from everything, from not wanting to sky jump to playing it really cold with Liberty. I just felt that from him.
I think he was out of his comfort zone in every situation. He was out of his comfort zone with he's afraid of heights, so he didn't want to do that. Also, he was taking a case which he admitted to at the end not because he believed in it was because Liberty, he wasn't included with Liberty. So he's going on and a part of something that he doesn't fully know or understand if he can actually win it or he has any tie to. He's doing it pro bono. It's like, what is he doing? So he's completely just out of his norm and what he's used to. So that's probably why we saw that whole character change with him.
Yeah, no, totally. What was just so interesting is that he took on a case that just seemed like it was, in this instance, it seemed like it was very clear cut. It seemed like, okay, this was just simply an accident. But of course, with all of these cases, you know, there's always something more to it. But the fact that Danny went on in and used her FBI prowess.
That wig, though.
What did we think? I was just going to say, what did we think of that?
Oh my gosh, it was like some Stranger Things type wig that she had.
She had some curls going on.
I was just like, you better be an undercover agent. Go ahead.
Did you think that she would actually cut her hair?
Oh, I knew it was a wig. Like,
okay.
You see how long that hair is? I'm sorry, as a black woman, don't cut that hair. Be proud of it, but put in the wig. But that was a wig. Like, I can just.
You thought it was a wig. Because he didn't think it was a wig.
No,
I think it's also a girl thing. I know wigs. That was a wig.
I will say this. I will say that I thought that she went with a new wig because I do know of Good Hair. I've watched Good Hair with Chris Rock, so I know I know how tough it is for
the African American community. I would say it for you.
Thank you. Dealing with how tough it is with their hair. So I'm like, that is not a good looking wig. And when we saw her in the next scene, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Thank God. I think the thing is,
I had it down as a question initially because I'm like, I was gonna ask Chae, what did you think of her hair?
I was like, you better be wearing a wig because, like, I swear, if you made that choice, I would. Oh, I want to get the writers real quick.
Well, I think
what did you do to her?
She just doesn't care what her wig really looks like. She's just in there to get her story. She's like, just grabbed whatever. I bet you Chunk gave her something.
That was like $20 wig.
No, Chunk did not give her something because Chunk was going to dress her. Chunk would have made sure that she looked so done up and so good to go.
Don't you like his whole British tailoring? Like, he's going to be okay. Like, he's specific in his styling. Like, he would have had it.
He would have had her out. Yeah. All good to go.
Actually, would have been a great scene if she walked on in back into TAC headquarters and Chunk just looked at what are
Let that be an outtake of the
deleted
scene, please and thank you.
You're gonna go out, Bull. You can't let her go out on these undercover missions looking like this, Bull.
Come see me first.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh my gosh, you have.
I love it. It's deleted scenes. We can we'll reenact it, guys. Okay.
Well, so she learns that this is a bigger conspiracy than just the possibility of an accident. She learns that there was some sort of investigation into this governor, and then she goes to her buddy at the FBI and finds out that there are 28 counts of corruption that they were about to bring upon Governor Whitfield. At that point in time, were you thinking, before we even knew about the uncle, did you think that there was a possibility that it was going to be somebody in that plane, that it was going to be a staffer?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Only because, you have these facts. They all had a 4-hour team building class from leaving the locker room to the plane, being on the plane, and then all of a sudden both cords are not in use, and 2 people died.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically who has the most motive at that point.
Yeah.
And one person was so fake. The guy was super fake. Like, just a smile. It was just like, you're such a fake governor or whatever you are, like, attorney that guy was.
Are you talking about the
guy who
first
worked with
staffer?
him.
Travis or whatever his name. Yeah, Travis.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
his name.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was just like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
was just so fake. You're just, I don't believe you. And then
I think he was just kissing some ass. Is all he was
basically, like, even in death, you would kiss some ass. Like, at that point, you don't have to be loyal a little bit, especially if you didn't like them.
Yeah.
That's the difference between being loyal to somebody after their death if you actually cared about them. If you didn't like them, like that girl, I hated him.
Yeah.
I'm honest. At least I loved it. She was super honest about it.
I think her saying that though completely proved that she didn't do it. Because if you did it,
true.
you would be like, "Oh my god, I loved him. He was great. I would never lay a finger on him." You know, she's like, "I hated him. I don't care. I didn't do that, but
Yeah.
I still hate the guy." Like,
He was a
Right.
lying bastard.
but that's like even to talk about someone when they're gone. I mean, whatever. I guess that's a legacy that that he's leaving behind. But yeah, I mean, I definitely thought that there was something sketchy. Like I said, I was completely taken for a whirlwind with this. I was
Totally.
free falling throughout the episode, and yeah, no, I didn't think that it was anyone besides someone on that plane.
Well, the importance of getting this information out, that being that there were 28 counts that were going to be brought against the governor, getting that out into the public was very integral to their case initially. And Bull was right away, he's like, we're going to throw Danny, your FBI contact, under the bus in essence. I was a little surprised by how Bull was so eager to allow that to happen without any sort of, heads up to this guy. I was a little surprised
personally,
because
she could
they
have been
utilized.
said something.
Well, I think that it wasn't Bull's fault. Bull said, "Go deal with your source, Danny." So he's like, "We're going to use this. You presented me with stuff that's going to help me win this case." He's already going up against something that he's not really prepared for, as we talked about. He just kind of took it for the whole liberty aspect of it. So he's like, "Okay, you're presenting this to me. Now go deal with your source." And when she left and exited that scene, I thought that's what she was doing.
I thought that's what she was going to do.
She was going to go call the guy.
Yeah.
So that's on her. That's not on Bull. That's Danny's mess
I'm
up.
sorry, that is Danny's. That's something she needs to handle.
Yeah, she needs to get her ducks up in line.
Danny remedied it in the respect that she asked the guy out for drinks afterward.
Does that
especially-
make it right?
I guess
I
yes,
messed you
it
up,
does.
so I'll flirt with you.
That's what he
Ask you
wanted.
to
That's all he
drink.
cared about to
Technically,
begin
no, that's
with.
what they both wanted. She broke up with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Come on.
She broke up with Gabe.
I'm sorry, I wanted
But
to
not
see a
for
little.
him.
Picture.
We
We
don't
don't know
know
that.
Do we know?
I don't think she did for him. I think she'd be a little bit more forthcoming with it.
I think she was a little more. She was influenced because like they were vibing.
They were vibing.
They were vibing since like the whole playing pool thing.
Yeah. What do we think about Cable just completely like blowing her stuff
I
up?
was like, that's
as
me.
she walks in, she goes, "She broke up with Gabe," and just walks away.
She's been a one-liner hit
I
lately.
can plead the fifth. That is me. Like
Cable?
I will do that. I would
Channel
do
your
that.
inner Cable. Do that. Someone.
I would do that to someone. I'm like, 'cause I do that to Becca sometimes. I'm like, cause she won't do something. I'm just like, you want me to be the spokesperson for you? Okay. She said
There you
this,
go.
and I'll walk right away
Yeah.
and like let Becca deal with it. And then she'll just stand there, and I'm just like,
Blur stuff up. I think I loved seeing Cable and Danny's friendship though. We never really
Yeah.
saw that. Like they're fun. Like,
I know
they're
they're
hanging
high
out.
five.
They're like best
Awesome.
friends. Yeah, this whole episode we really saw how much they bond in their chemistry, and that's what I love. And when we did our interview last week with Geneva, it was nice knowing that they love doing that. That's kind of
Yeah.
their own thing that they kind of create for their characters and stuff, and create these friendships with each other. And
I think we should have a high five day.
high
five
five
day.
day. Love it.
That was just awesome.
Well,
High five.
All right, I don't know
Good
if I can
job,
reach
guys.
you. I don't
We
know
have
if I
high
can
five
do it.
day.
Where-
High five day on Tuesdays, guys.
There you go.
Well, it was so interesting to see all of the women in this episode really be they had the guts this episode. It was not the men this episode. It was the women.
Well, Benny was distracted, so we'll let him have that a little bit. Cause he's definitely dealing with some internal turmoil. Like, cause if you
Yeah, I
you send a man away for jail for 9 years, and he might be innocent, that will mess up your psyche.
Wouldn't you be more willing to jump out of a plane at that point?
Would you be more willing to jump out of the plane, Kevin?
I mean, if I'm thinking that I just screwed up a guy's life, the last 9 years of his life, and broke up his marriage, I think I'd be more willing to just
But
take a
wait.
chance and just like, screw it, I'm jumping out of a plane.
But was Benny on that? Was Benny on the plane in the beginning?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was. So what did he? I think he got the news after. the whole plane thing? Though?
Well, he got the
like
news
cable?
after, but he was away. I don't know. Did he get the phone call after? Is a good
Because
question.
the DNA evidence, that's what he got. So he didn't know about this prior to that jump.
But he was still
He was still aware.
He was still aware. Like he
Aware that the
kept
case is getting brought up.
scanning stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like
Yeah.
like it kept being on his mind. Like he's being investigated.
Yeah.
Like he.
But the phone call, you're right. He probably
You know.
received that information afterwards.
That's, I'm giving him benefit of the doubt.
Alright.
But
But-
also, can we just say, I would not jump out of a plane or get out of
No.
an airplane after they just had a death. One of the cables just snapped. We haven't figured out why.
I
No
am
way
definitely
in
afraid of heights.
heck if we go on team bonding, guys,
Right,
that you're
right, right.
getting me on a plane after someone
We're
died.
going
2 days
paintballing. I'll do
before.
paintballing. But I'm sorry.
That's all I'm
I'm
saying.
terrified of heights. Hell no.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
they were
Heck
showing
no. I would
faith
say
in
hell
Dylan.
to the
Yeah.
no.
That's what Bull wanted. Bull wanted to make Dylan feel like that her life isn't falling apart, and they wanted to show faith. At least that's my opinion.
I'm not showing faith.
I agree with that.
I'm not going to risk my life.
I've sat through a 4
You're
hour.
right.
I'm like, is it gonna be in a tube? Can we go to the inline sky thing at Universal? I'll do that, but no jump. I
But
don't play them games.
Cable and Danny, they were super
Even Marissa
about it.
went.
I loved it. I loved
Like
it. They were so
all the girls
excited.
are just like, let's go. Even though Marissa's kind of like, I'm ready, and like she's kind of like doing the teaser, like
Yeah.
going towards the open door.
As her personality would show, that she wouldn't be so forthcoming like Cable. She's like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah,
I guess,
all right.
I guess you
Try
can
this
get
out.
me to do it.
But apparently, skydiving is safer than cheerleading, which I actually believe.
Oh yeah, you're a cheerleader
you
over
are.
here on our panel.
I believe that. You know, like seriously, like
I mean, yeah.
60% of even college injuries are cheerleading related. They're not anything else. They're cheerleading related.
Yeah, you guys
Really?
are throwing each other up in the air and spinning and falling back down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrifying.
And you have to get some, like, really strong men to be able to throw these petite
Try doing
women
that
up
only in
the
high
air.
school with only girls.
I know. I know. I had a couple of buddies who are actually, male cheerleaders, and I
I
was
feel
just
like it's easier for a guy for some reason than it was. I don't know. Maybe it was just easier. I think if you're a guy, because you like definitely have more. What
Muscle?
you can like, muscle mass, and you can hold up.
Yeah.
Like holding up, being in high school, holding up 105 girl. I'm just like, is it time for her to come down?
Is it time for
Can she come down yet? Please.
That's funny.
But you're never rooting for them to fall down, of
No,
course. And
like
it's-
I'll catch you.
Come
Like, my
down
arms are like my
nicely.
arms are out for you. I will catch you. I promise. But is it time for you to come? Is it over yet? Did we do the cheer? Is it prep rally over? Okay.
Well, during all of the Vaudoir, it was just so interesting to see the way that Liberty was able to cut all
She
of the
learned a
jurors
lot from
that
Bull. You got to give her props.
she was on top of her game. Not only that, but she left the one juror that Bull wanted, though. That was his mirror juror.
Mirror
But he
Bull.
didn't like being compared to Mirror Bull.
No.
He did not like it one
He
bit.
did not like
It's
a mirror
hilarious.
bull. Like I thought what was going to happen with Liberty was that yes, she was doing all these tactics and Bull was noticing it. I thought Bull was going to sabotage her mentality by doing something opposite, like saying like, do you like carrots? And they want the answer to be no, and
Yeah.
she thinks that the answer should be no for her benefit. You know what I mean? That would be opposite, that he would flip a question just to keep some of the jurors. But he never did that. And I think
'Cause I
that
think-
may be inherently him not wanting to completely ruin her, but him just kind of testing her and kind of working with it and kind of being proud that she knows his tricks.
It's like it's like he's like the evil mentor in halfway for this episode. Like he wants to see what she's made of. Like now that they work together and now they're on opposite sides,
He's testing her.
he's testing her.
Yeah, a little bit.
And
so,
she was like, nah, I'm not playing with you.
yeah, I loved it.
I love
Yeah,
it.
she called him out. After court one day, she called him out. It's just like, what is going on? She got a little bit flustered by the whole fact that he's doing this just to get at her. Is at least what she was feeling. Did you sense that from Bull initially, that he just entered this case because Liberty was involved?
I think there was a possibility with it, half
Yeah.
and half. I wasn't really sure what his other tie. The only other thing that I would think was that Marissa in the beginning said to him, basically he hates like the Big Brother, he hates government stuff and being involved. And so anytime he can get kind of his fingers in on that, he wants to somehow change what's happening with people who have less power. So that was part of it. And then the other part was Liberty a little bit. But I thought it was going to be for him to kind of help her and benefit her and maybe not sabotage his own client, but just to help Liberty out in a sense. I never thought it'd go the other way.
I was actually surprised. That's what I was free falling on. Like she went on the attack when she called in Dylan. Like that, actually, no offense, that's a dick move.
Yeah.
calling in the dude's daughter like that, that's a dick move. I mean, it was a smart move and everything, but that still made your dick.
I mean, no. I mean, I think every right to do that.
She had every right.
I thought for a minute too that Dylan may have been the one. Maybe Dylan wanted to take over the company. Maybe Dylan just didn't like the governor for whatever reason. It had to be someone who had access to that. So in the back of my head the whole time I was thinking it was Dylan, and they're starting to print out murderers. And I thought that she was possibly. And I thought when she came up, that was going to be exposed possibly, but it wasn't. So it went the opposite way. So I think it was they had every right to bring her up.
Oh, totally.
If they're going to be accusing all these people on the chief of staff, even him,
then it makes sense.
They have every right to bring her up.
She's a member of the company. She is now the head of the company.
Regardless,
she has to take some sort of. She has to take the stand to almost defend. Ownership of whatever, whether or not they are guilty or not guilty, she had to.
You know what I found interesting was at the end when Bull came to talk to the governor's widow.
Yeah.
And she said, you brought up all this corruption and infidelity to destroy his legacy. But I'm in my back of my mind, I'm like, Liberty did the same thing for Dylan by destroying her mindset of what her dad's legacy was.
Right.
In the same sense.
And there is, there are the facts, and there are the facts, and the fact is that there are 28 counts that were going to be brought against the governor, and because he lost his life, that's what saved him from it becoming public in the first place. So at first I was hearing, the widow, Mrs. Whitfield, I was hearing her out in that manner, but still, it's. The reality is we had to do this. It almost should have been brought into the light to begin with, especially corruption charges. I mean, she probably was a beneficiary.
I believe
all of that. Yeah.
So
she's a smart person. I have no doubt she was not somehow. She knew at least that even if she wasn't involved, she knew.
Yeah, no, it was very bizarre. But I mean, the fact that Liberty went into attack dog mode to begin with was just fun.
She's great. Because we normally see her as this just little innocent, fragile. Remember when we first saw her in the beginning?
She was the
paralegal to that really nasty lawyer, and Bull and Marissa saved her, and now she's on her own. I love it. And I kind of had a feeling, because this case wasn't won or lost. It was, they dropped the case.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we're seeing every time Bull doesn't win a case. It's because the case is dropped. And I was curious how this is going to transpire. If he was really going to bring down Liberty, like her first major case he's just gonna beat her at, and that's why she was getting all crazy and all weird. And we saw their first interaction in the courtroom. It was just the two of them, and he's just like, hey, and she's like, why
did you say it like that?
Yeah, what just so second guessing. And she's like, you're trying to get in my head. He's like, I'm really not, but look, you did the work for me, so I'm gonna take it.
I'm already there.
Right? So it was just, I'd be nervous too. My mentor I'm going against, it's battle of the bosses, I guess.
Those mind games that he was playing, though. I mean, he was just in one of those
brilliant.
Modes. He's just on. I loved it.
On point. Oh, Bull. It's great. And I love, he said like a great quote about jumping out of the plane that I have written down here. He was like, I don't have a fear of jumping out of the plane. I have a full respect for gravity.
That was the best line ever, because I subscribe to that sentence, and I have a full, I respect my gravity. I'm glad to be on the ground always.
It's the most like realistic type, like valid. Okay, valid. I get it now. You're jumping out of something that's going to shoot you to the ground.
Well, what is
your parachute catches you.
What is the most daredevil thing that either of you two have done in your past?
Oh,
she can go first because I have to think.
Daredevil thing I've done in my past. Oh, I don't know. This is a thinker right now. I haven't jumped out of an airplane.
Bungee jump?
I haven't bungee jumped. I
have a full respect
I
for
once
gravity.
went hiking. I was like hiking to a waterfall and took the wrong route, and then we ended up just climbing the side of this really rocky mountain, and I almost fell 3 times to the floor, like all like down.
How many feet are we talking here?
We were high up, like imagine top of a big waterfall. We were on the side. Yeah, I almost fell off like 3 times and died. And by the time we got to the top and we just started breathing, and we were like,
how the hell did you get down?
That? We went through the other side. We climbed through people's like houses and stuff, and like their backyards, and went, like their backyards.
Is this
and,
in
like,
Cali or is this back in the
this was in Cali. So yeah, I guess that was terrifying. Looking back now, that was a near-death experience 3 times.
Seriously.
So there's that. I didn't really sign up for it.
I guess I only think of two things. I went jet skiing when I was 14.
Okay.
That was kind of that was in a late.
Once when I was 15,
That
I
was
love it.
okay. And then, have you ever been to Cedar Point?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what's that ride?
Top Thrill Dragster, where you go up through like 350 feet
Yeah, that
straight
one.
up and then go down in 16 seconds. It's crazy.
I like roller coasters.
16 or
I don't
9
like
seconds.
loops a lot. So I was with my sister, and since she's older, she's like, "You're going."
There you go.
Oh yeah, and the line was 2 hours, by the way. So we stood 2. No,
I'll tell you about my Cedar Point story.
Oh my gosh! So we're in the thing 2 hours, and we finally get on there. And I do it because I have no choice. Because like she has her man with her, he would seriously force me on there if I did not get on myself.
She has her man with her.
And now her husband, yes. And I am talking about you if you see this. I don't care. So that was serious for me. That's the most daring thing. And I was cussing her out during the first part of that ride.
Nah, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
She could
That's
hear
crazy.
me.
You survived it. You
Yeah, you
hear
survived.
me.
It's a roller coaster. Yeah, it's the second tallest in the world, but it's
That
a
was
roller
scary.
coaster.
I legit just looking down from. I'm like, I am not going up there. She's like, yes, you are. Okay.
I ran up a pyramid one time when I was down in the Yucatan Peninsula. Like
Nice.
ran up. The stairs were like yay big, but I like ran up the
Hang on,
pyramid.
can we
Yeah.
start this again? You said I ran up a period once when I was at Yucatan Peninsula. Like the most that's not what I thought was gonna come out of your mouth right now. That was just really you're a worldly
agree.
guy. I really like it. That was great.
I feel like we're bad people because we don't take that many risks on the family.
No, that was great.
Okay,
Love
well
it.
I'm glad I amused you.
I'm glad you survived it.
Thank you. Yes, I am too. Actually, it was kind of. It was
Didn't-
stupid. It was stupid when you look back on it. How like I
always
could have just
stupid.
slid and I would have been dead.
Yeah.
So where were we
But you
going?
lived this
So
whole story. Yeah.
so yeah, I lived, and so I mean everybody except for poor Walt or Walt. But so Max.
Mm-hmm.
We get to Max. We get to the end, and Bull and Mirror Bull seem to be the only ones who truly think they know who actually committed the murder.
Mm-hmm.
So we sit down, and Bull is making, and truly in dramatic fashion, he like sits down. He's sitting down, ready for a performance because. Yeah, I don't know if you caught that, but he like leans back and he's just intent. He's like, read it.
I was like something. It was
Read
just
it.
like the way he did it. It was just like you know something, right? Because there's no way you would actually. Like here, you're gonna read this. I want to hear. Like he even like.
Yeah. He doesn't give it off to
louder.
Dylan. You know, he doesn't say like, no, Benny can do this for you. He wants Walt to read it, and Walt breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, did you expect him to flat out admit it that would actually weigh on his conscience so much?
I think I think the issue was having Dylan be right next to him. Bull made Dylan stay in the room for that. I was so caught off guard. I didn't know that Bull planned this and wrote this out specifically. And all we hear is how his brother turned to evil and was a
Bitter, angry
villain
man.
and all this type of stuff. And at the time reading, I was like, wait, oh, Bull planted this. Oh, Bull's doing this on purpose. I didn't even click to me. But I think a big reason is because his daughter's sitting, or his niece is sitting right next to him, the daughter of his brother that he basically killed. So I think that was a huge part as for why he admitted it.
No, I agree because I was thinking at first, well, maybe it's because of the words that he was actually, saying about his brother that just really got to him. Like this, I caused this. But when you heard how angry he was about being fired in the first place, how there was no faith by his brother that he ran down the company, I think that changed my opinion. And I think you're right. It was more because Dylan was right there. I expected more of a. I guess in those instances, you would expect more of like a hysterical reaction,
From
especially
Dylan?
from Dylan. Yeah.
I think it's shock. And I think
Yeah.
it was he didn't intend to kill her father. He
Right.
was intending to do something with the governor and stuff. And it's just like, really? Wow, this is a dagger. And everyone goes through emotions differently, I guess.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But yeah, Bull was kind of sitting in the background like a little audience member watching this kind of unfold and take place. He's a genius man. Brilliant man.
He is. And just that scene, like just watching him break down.
Mm-hmm.
I really felt bad for Max. Like even though he got what he wanted, he killed the governor, but you also ended up killing your brother, which was not your intent. That seriously had to have weight on you because you basically were the cause.
Yeah, I don't feel bad for him. He went to kill someone. He cut someone's cords full knowing he was killing a human being, regardless.
In a way, I feel bad
In a
because
terrible
like now
way.
Dylan, like he has to go to jail. Dylan's gonna be by herself, in that respect, I do feel bad for him and her both, because she has to run the company herself. She has to definitely find her own strength.
Yeah.
Even though I know she'll be okay, but she definitely is going to need that reserve and that strength.
Yeah, I feel that for Dylan. I have no sympathy for Max.
Yeah.
At all. You're a murderer. You cut someone's cords, regardless if your company was going on, regardless if you got fired after 22 years. It does not give you the right to kill somebody.
Apparently, in certain cases, I'm just sympathetic.
Oh, gosh.
I was a little surprised that there was not more of a... Well, I'm surprised that the investigation found that there was, like, general wear on both the main chute and the backup chute. Like
that's intent.
That's rare, I would assume. Like, for both to be worn down like that on the same chute. So I expected
well, maybe he did
there
that
to be
on
some
purpose.
sort of
Maybe he did something with that to prove that there was the wear and tear of it.
Right. Well, that's
You know, because he
interesting.
wanted to maybe screw over the company too, because he was being fired from it for 22 years.
Right.
Oh, that makes
So
a lot
who
of
knows?
sense, too.
You know.
Well, the other couple of things that we had during
Yeah.
this episode, well, Bull and Mrs. Whitfield, that interaction, he actually convinces Mrs. Whitfield to put aside the case, and everybody wins in this instance. We don't have a loss, which is interesting.
I guess so.
But Liberty did say that she, what was her big lesson? She learned how to win.
How to win.
How to win.
How to win. I felt so bad early in the middle of the episode when she went away from Bull, like crying basically in tears, like, how could you, basically? And I was like, oh, no. But then she came back and struck again. And I didn't think that was going to be what the biggest lesson was, how to win. I thought it was going to be like, don't trust you, or like, don't go up against you, or something where I just could hug her and tell her to be okay. But she surprised me, and she got that W.
Because I think that's Bull's mystique. Like, his whole thing is about how to win and his strategy on how to do that.
Yeah.
So she
did it.
That was a good lesson she needed to learn.
She did it. And what do you think about him asking specifically? Well, what did you learn? Like, he's so curious. He really does want to know. And when he doesn't know, and because normally he knows all the answers, he's like, so what was that that you were going to say? And then he smiled. He'd get that big grin on his face.
He's just sexy.
Michael Weatherly.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Kevin's just gonna
So
laugh
charming,
at us.
yeah. Well, apart from that, Benny, it seems like we're going to be dealing with this case soon. What is this? Episode 17, 23 episode order. So we got 6 episodes. Do my math. 6, 7 episodes left.
Yeah.
So we have to assume that this case is going to actually.
6.
There's 223. So.
Oh, it's 23. I thought it was 22.
18,
Never mind.
19,
You're right.
20,
It's 6.
6.
Yeah.
Simple math. Dear God. I haven't had dinner tonight, folks.
I
So I
heard
apologize.
22 episodes, so my bad. That was telling me he was correct with it.
Yeah, so, I mean, they've been teasing this for like 4 episodes now.
Yeah, I kind of like it though. I kind of like that we have this thing that's kind of running through all of
feel like
them.
some
That it's
reason
not
it's
so
gonna be the finale.
episodic.
That's why I'm thinking it is going to be the season finale.
Yeah, or it's the finale episode. You mean?
Yeah,
Or, yeah.
or at least him possibly going to jail or something dramatic happening.
Losing his license, maybe.
Losing his license, his life being threatened. You have this individual who's 9 years stuck in prison,
With a
now
lot of
out,
rage
has
built up.
a lot of rage, has lost his life. You know, we don't really see that very often with court dramas like that. So
The thing that stinks is you can see that Benny does not want to put anyone innocent in jail and stuff, and that he would only have done it, and he's just hitting that bag, like getting all that frustration out. Poor guy, and I love Chunks, his little helper.
his big teddy bear.
I just want to be a
know.
part of the crew so bad. I just want to go hang out there, be a little fly on the wall.
I just want to
always.
like be around Chuck and like.
I want Chunk to dress me every day.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd be
please.
down.
Can he? Yeah.
He wears
I need
a
a
vest
stylist.
really well.
And a good bow tie, and
Bow
a good.
tie.
He's always just
How
put
many-
together, and it's just awesome.
Not many people can pull off a bow tie. I give
No.
him credit for that. But you brought up an interesting thing. Benny, yes, he's really broken about this, but he also did say to Chunk earlier in the episode that he was not always this way. He wasn't always the good guy.
Valid. I didn't even think of that. So this may
Whoa.
bite him in the butt.
Might bite him in the butt, and we might learn something about Benny's past that we didn't quite know before. Which, as we always love, we love that character development.
Love character development.
But that story arc is going to be very interesting as we move forward. Bull jumps out of the plane, has a heart-to-heart with Dylan. That was sweet. Always is nice to have a good positive ending. As you got Michael Weatherly's big smile at the end, so you got to walk away from the episode with that. Any other takeaways from this episode?
I just wrote his face at the end. ... Priceless.
It was really priceless. It was just like that smile. It was like it was awesome.
It was great.
It was a perfect ending, personally.
Yeah, I loved this episode. I said last week was my favorite, or 2 weeks ago.
You did.
But this one is now. I just took it.
Yeah?
I bumped that one down to number 2, taking this as number 1. They're really killing it at the end of this season. I'm loving
They have
this.
been doing really well. And Geneva
Good
said that they
job,
didn't
raters.
actually jump out of the planes, but whatever Michael Weatherly was looking at or whatever he was thinking, I would love to know. I
Yeah.
would love to know for him to have that big of a smile on his face.
You know, someone has like a blower, like on that some PA's holding right there or something.
Oh my gosh, I would love just a picture of what that actually looked like.
Yeah,
Behind the
seriously.
scenes, yeah. So.
Well, guys, tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Hey guys, I'm Chae Jones. You can find me at Real Chae Jones on Twitter and Instagram.
Thank you guys so much for watching, hanging out with us in the bullpen tonight. Nadine Della Pelle, you can find me at Nadine DP in the number 3.
And I am Kevin Ellis. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Kevin Ellis. Thank you guys again for joining us this week. We were so happy to have Geneva Carr last week. Next week we will be off, so we will see you in 2 weeks from now. Always know you can find us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. For those watching tonight, we appreciate you watching the live feed. See you guys in 2 weeks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bull you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.